Hey, good morning everybody, and welcome to Stonehearth dev stream number 239, in which we will take on more desert goblins. This is Allie, artist on Team Stonehearth, and yeah, thanks for joining us today. We've got a little bit of work left over to do on these guys, so I thought we'd take it to the stream and chip away at it a bit more. Oh, not party goblin. Currently looking for the thing, and I did that fun thing where it's like it's named something that isn't specifically like this is where the goblins live. Yep, that's what I did. There they are. Woo! Hey, good morning Relis and Surrenderies and Mally. Or good evening or afternoon. It may not be morning where you are. Awesome. Yeah, alright, so we've got all these little dudes, and there need to be a couple color adjustments. Like, I haven't dropped these guys into the desert just yet to see how they're functioning tonally, but so far, oh hey, actually we can get caught up with some of the work that we have been doing with the monsters before we get rolling. That would be fun. I'd love to introduce you guys to some of the new stuff. But yeah, so anyway, these guys need to be dropped into the desert to see how their colors are holding up and any last minute tweaks. But basically what we're looking at here is just a variety of fun, cool goblins that come in and make your life hard. And I did these, and I was looking at these ascendancy heads back here for, you know, these are goblins, and I thought, yes, we will need 5 types of goblins. And you know, I've got 6 here. I'm not sure if the dude with the squirrel head here is gonna hold up. I'm in love with the concept, but maybe it doesn't read very well. Because it's like over here you've got the guy that's like got the Zilla head on his head, and then this one's like, yeah, I'm cool too. I'm fierce. I found this tiny skull and I put it on my noggin. It's happening. Oh, hey, afternoon, Mr. Monkey. But then during our group playtests, in which we were rather viciously attacked by a lot of goblins. It came to my attention that we are still lacking the goblin, the desert versions of our marauders, our thief, and our chieftains, and that's kind of a bummer. So we've got a couple options here. One would be to kind of treat these styles, wait, not those, not the ones in the background. So, hey, good morning, my Lopez. So these styles, which they have adornment, but they have the less amazing fancy hats. But to treat these as more like your base goblins that would like just come in and goblin around, and then the ones with more elaborate headgear could be more along the lines of like marauders and thieves and things like that, with some tweaks. Or we can just go in and start digging around some more. Like for the chieftain, for sure, I'm thinking like the bone hat is a great choice, but it should probably have like cool horns, just, you know, to make it even more amazing. I don't even know how else to put that. Like a super big fancy hat, because I mean the text practically says it's a goblin with a fancy hat. It should be outstanding. Now Lopez says, I thought there wasn't going to be a stream today. Oh gosh, I wasn't late. Oh yeah, Tamora, welcome back. And yeah, so the last time, I don't know, you might have been here when we were working on this guy here with the Zilla head. So this has all been cleaned up and colored, and he's got a bunch of friends now, including my personal favorite, the dude with the cactus on his head. Yeah. I'm excited by Cactus Helm. Absolutely. Let's see. So, before we jump into all that, I want to catch you guys up with some of the other work that's been going on with the monsters in the background. So let's pop on over to creators. Neat. So you'll see we've got a lot more things in here now. I think I showed you guys Zilla before, and since then, the cube quails, and I don't know if you guys have seen the fennec. So actually they're going to be over here. So back here you can see that we've got the cube quails, which are going to be the sandy pollo when you see them in game. These are the desert versions of your wonderful temperate biome fluffy fowl. And over here we have the fennec fox, which is slightly more indigenous to the desert than the fluffy red fox over there. And it's got like the different styling of the ears and of course the different coloration. He's very bright against the sand too, it's kind of pretty. So those are examples so far of some of the differences you'll see when you play in the desert biome. But aside from that, we've taken it further so that, for instance, when you run into stonelings, they match the terrain. So instead of seeing stonelings that are the color of the mountains in the Ascendancy, you'll start seeing them. There's one potato. Let's just import them all, why not? That's blue clay door. We don't want blue clay door. Fine, be that way. You'll start seeing them in the colors of the desert mountains anyway, and the terrain in general. Oh, there he is. This one is just my super favorite. I asked Yang if we could every once in a while, in honor of the random pink rock that you get sometimes, which isn't random, I know, have like one of the stonelings come out and be pink like the pink rock. So every once in a while you'll see one of those. And the more standard, actual like stone colored sandy stoneling. And these actually match the desert super well. So they're super harmonious with the colors. They don't have that blue cast to them that makes them look like they don't belong quite as well. Let me minimize this because it's in the way. I'm kicking myself for not having my working files in the public folder now because it just kind of has everything in it, and now I have to open up a million files for you guys, but it's cool. So, many small rock friends who are not friends. They're coming for you. Then the big sand golem also got a makeover. And again, this is sort of in the vein of just making sure that the colors are harmonious and fixing up small details. So these guys will have kind of a striation effect going up through their arms, sort of like what you get with those pretty sediment patterns in canyon mountains. And their tiny little tree has been switched out for a tiny little cactus. And yes, the cactuses have different flowers to complement the color schemes of the different golems. We're all about the fashions. I had tried to make one that, since this is like the big rock, I thought it would be super cool in the beginning to try and to make one of these that had all three of the stone colors in it, like all like striated out, and it just looked like a gigantic rainbow mess. It was so nasty. But we did manage to get some streaks in it. Surrender says, have you considered sandy glass golems? Ooh, that would be pretty. The cat. Yeah. Okay, we've seen the sandy poyo and the fennec. Let's look at the bonehide varanus. So, oh, I don't have any of. I should have had. Yeah. Okay, next time I do this, I'm gonna make sure that we've got some of the concept art in here too. So the bonehide varanus was originally, I thought that this guy would have like a big cool ridge down his back. But instead, he wound up kind of taking after more of like a slightly higher contrast desert snake type thing. So you'll see that he's got a neat pattern on his back, more of a tan ochre, terracotta kind of a color scheme going on. He stands out really nice against the sand, and he's got a little bit of variation compared to our regular green varanus. That way they both feel special. This is a varanus. He does not have a spiny back, so he's no longer the bonehide varanus. Someday, maybe. And this is his skin, but that's okay. And lastly, these little guys are temporarily these spiny entlings, but we're gonna be working on that because we don't like that name. So, yeah. These are little cactus dudes. I'm super excited about them. I think they came out really cute. You thought you were safe cutting down all those cacti. Well, you weren't. Now you'll have to contend with these fellas. So these would be kind of like the desert equivalent of the ent, or the entling. And I wanted to make sure that they stood apart. So if you were to compare these with the temperate biomes entlings, what you would see is that they do appear pretty different. And this time I will wade back into entities to actually find that for you so you can kind of compare them. Monsters, forest, little baby entling. Yeah, so here's their cousin, the adorable tree stump. And there you go. I'm a fan. I enjoy the little cactus dudes. So slightly bit more work to do on these guys just to figure out who they are and what that means. And we might actually wind up throwing that out to you guys, which I think would be a super cool thing. But for now, let's bid all of our friends adieu. I'm also working on a hyena, but he's not done yet. He's got a few weird naked legs, and it's awkward for everybody. I don't know where'd he go. Hey, friend, there you are. But for now, let's see if we can make a little bit of progress on the goblin with a fancy desert hat. Let's see. Tamora says, then what of the bigger Varanus, as even that one had a different color? I think it was red. Okay, that one is like a stronger version of the Ascendancy Varanus. So there would probably be some kind of analog to that with the brown Varanus in the desert. But they wouldn't be the same. It actually kind of messed things up for me, because at first I was like, yes, this Varanus will be red and it'll be incredible. Except we've already sort of got a red Varanus. So what we were shooting for was some kind of actual like physical differentiator that made it feel like it was at home in the desert. So, you know, that's color, that's some kind of pattern, maybe a different kind of ridge. I was looking originally at, like, the armadillo lizard for inspiration on that. So it had, like, this fantastic mane of spikes for a while, and it was a huge mess to look at. It was so busy. But then we had some suggestions about, like, looking at poisonous snakes and things like that had more of, like, a chopped-up pattern down the back, and there was a little bit of an issue of that with, like, making sure it didn't come out too loud and busy, but having the separation of the color and the tone along the back wound up being a really good way to go, and we just wound up knocking off the ridge. So we had something that was, like, physically different, but still definitely part of the same family. And Surrender says, what about instead of having a bigger red one, you had a longer snake-like one? I really love that idea. I'm not sure because the thing is those guys kind of all share a rig, so we'd have to, like, be able to do that with what we've got to work with. So I'm not really sure how that would work. But it's a cool idea. Yeah, what Mally is saying. Longer is harder because it typically means we need a new rig. Also, snakes are notoriously hard to rig in anime. But in my mind, I love the idea of the big Varanus being, like, a great big monster dude who's, like, just a super desert snake. Coffee. Yeah, so we're actually we're coming down the home stretch with all of our desert monsters, and today I was kind of flipping a coin between whether or not we wanted to work on more goblin hats or maybe take a stab at the lizard critter. And I thought the goblins would probably be a bit more exciting, and we should finish them up before we open up another page. So, I'm thinking we want to start with a bone hat. Because this to me says aggressive, mighty boss goblin. Which means in the end, it may be that we use these four as, like, the basic scouts. I mean, maybe we'll add, like, one more with just some paint on his face and some fluffy hair, so that we have 5 as we do in the Ascendancy for, I don't know, continuity's sake. My OCD goes crazy for stuff like that. But when we start getting into, like, the really grandiose hats, maybe we'll save those for, like, the bosses. And it also provides a good opportunity, like, you know, we do have color here, so for, like, to indicate, like, levels of aggression and things like that. Only issue I'm seeing is where in the world we're gonna put the horns on this guy, since this eye hole here So this is supposed to be a Zilla skull, and Zilla's got 4 eyes. I could move those forward, but that might start messing with like how this whole thing looks. It might start getting too busy. But who knows? We might find out. Either way, we want to avoid having them sticking out on a diagonal because it would get way too steppy and busy. It would just look a mess. Also, we could just change the style of the skull completely, which is always a possibility. Though, a little confusing as I don't think we have anything like huge horned cows or anything in our desert currently. Maybe someday. Oh, Nighty says, love this game, guys. You are doing amazing. I'm spending way too much time playing and not working. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. What about more? Oh, Surrenderies is saying, back on the Varanus's, is what about the armadillo-y then? More of a rounder shell-like body. So, actually, there is a monster that I one day want to work on that is more of an armadillo type. So I kind of want to keep those separate and keep the Varanus and Reptile Land for now. Good morning, Ildred. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Dimetrodon is also a good idea. Because it's got like the big fan ridge on it. That would have been cool. But I think this is okay because one of the cool things about his back right now is, again, the visibility against the sand. So with all the desert recolors, you kind of run into this issue with, like, most desert things are brown. We're going to have a lot of brown, so it's nice to find things that that stand out. Okay. I'm trying to get a good angle on this dude so we can take a screenshot and paint on him. Show me your good side, little friend. He's got a little pink cheek blush. I forgot about that. I'm so happy. Print screen. No, Cubicle. You need to calm down. You wouldn't even know what to do with a picture that size. What's going on here? Oh yeah, Timur, that's kind of the idea, or maybe even just like sticking them like on top of the head with like a binding or something on the top. That could work. We shall see. Whoop. Let's just, oop, I'm covering up the chat and I don't want that. That may not be enough for him to work with. So let's do a paint over. And let's also reference our current chieftain. His feathers coming out of the central hole. That would be interesting. Feathers can be hard to model though, you're right. It's not impossible though. And it's a good idea, so, I mean, maybe somewhere. Quail feathers. He's just got the little quail hook. That'd be cute. Probably not, like, boss goblin enough, though, if it was the quail hook. Though they are very silly. Can I have the File Explorer windows? That would be really good. Let's see. Oh, now I remember. Yes, so many. These are just goblin heads, mohawk, armor vest, breastplate, that's not what we want. Boss banner, decoration. What about the quail as a hat? That's a great idea. We could just do that super easy. That's weird. Goblin soldier? Leather armor. No, those are the standard ones. Dang it, how did I lose this? We have so many things. Throne, war mammoth. Outfits. Yes, found it. Alright, so we got the boss. A whole quail as a hat. Hey, Drum Original, welcome to the stream. And good morning, Rock Raid. We are putting another hat on a goblin, the fanciest hat, because this is going to be our goblin chieftain. And someone Who was it? Who says it? Sarandaries said we should just put the quail on their head, so I'm gonna do that right now, because, I mean, that's the best idea ever. Let me just borrow this one. This one's the most flamboyant, so... Truly the fanciest hat. Oh, it's all one thing. Okay, that's fine. I was just trying to take its upper half, so it would be, like, kind of squatting on his head. This is exactly what we want. Just pure genius. Yes. See, what's happening here is actually the quail is the boss. Alright, right now it's kind of doing an awful clippy thing. Okay, we want to get... Yeah, there we go. So he's just roosting. It's perfect. Maybe, or either that or the goblin just doesn't know. And the quail is up there because the skull is all sun-warmed. I'm sorry. You're supposed to be the future chief, and I'm totally not taking you super serious. How does he get the quail to stay? How does anyone? Maybe that's why he's the boss. The other goblins are like, that guy awesome. That guy get the quail to stay. Must be leader. There's like a ritual that they do when they're electing their leader, in which they prove their might over one another by trying to get a quail to stay on their head. That is an epic jewel there, sir. It's like he's got a huge eye. I wonder what their turnover rate for boss goblins would be. If the defining moment would be getting a quail to stay. Oh man. Now I just want like one of these like basic guys to have like a little quail on their head, but I feel like that'd be funny. Alright, so you guys hang out there for a second. Hello, sir. Or madam, perhaps. Where did Photoshop go? Remember that time Photoshop disappeared? There it is. Hi. Hey, buddy. Ghost Photoshop. It was just Halloween. Loot chicken! There we go. Just want to make sure we've got everything. And of course, we should get our goblin quail combo. Oh no, I did it. There it is. Neat. Yes, we win. We did all the things. Alright, so it's really good to start with a paint over. The reason being is because Cubicle can be really clunky to navigate in and modify things in. The only drawback is sometimes with the paint overs, you'll wind up in a my opacity is weird. You'll wind up in a situation where you've drawn something really cool and then you're tearing your hair out trying to model it, and it leads to just a continuum of sadness and heartbreak. But also of discovery and fun after the sadness and heartbreak. Yeah, okay, so originally I was a little worried about this because it's like, oh man, Zilla has all these eyes. But then Zilla also doesn't have horns, so maybe this is like a compound skull hat situation. I wonder how hard it would be to like give the chieftain earrings of some kind, like little... Has anybody else put lizards on their ears before? Because I feel like that would be definitely an indicator of chiefliness. So where I grew up, we had these little porch dragons. They're bright green and they're about the size of your finger. And if you could catch them, they wouldn't hurt you and they weren't poisonous or anything. And you had to be real gentle. But you could get them to, like, you know, bite your finger or bite your ears. So you could have lizard earrings. What have I done? There we go. And I'm pretty sure that could be a neat indicator of goblin chiefliness. But that also might be too small a detail. So we might just stick to, like, bigger things. You're right. Okay, yeah, man, that would be points lost for lack of realism. Right, this is already feeling super cool. Maybe we'll have room to like draw like a pattern on here because he's got this cool jewel situation going on. Maybe just keep him small, not dangly. Alright, alright. Yeah. It would be too much detail, honestly, because there's not a lot of area to work with over here. Like, it would be trailing down to his arm, and it wouldn't actually, like, work super well. Oh well, I'll hold it in my heart for now. Just give him, like, cool earrings, or maybe, like, a neat band up here. Since that would, like, contrast super cool with his ear. But it might also distract. I don't know. We'll get there. In any case, he's getting a cool outfit. Oh, that's right. These guys have cool outfits. So, like, they've got, like, the broader breastplate. I was hoping that it would indicate that they make these bigger pieces, like, out of chunks of bone, and that the rest of their outfit is usually just, like, hide and other things that they've wrapped around themselves. Though it can be difficult to convey those things with voxels. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that there were, like, things there that would be fun to extrapolate from as well, like... Definitely enough to go on, but also leaves room for interpretation. Special gloves would be really cool. Like, bringing the color down here. Starting to get more epic. So if we put, like, a detail here, whether that was a jewel or a pattern, do you think it would be gold? Do you think it would be something else? Because in, so, like, the theme I've been going with so far for the desert goblins is that they they outfit themselves in things that they find. So I wonder what they would choose for that central detail. We could do, like, a small gradient pattern on here, too. To, like... Oh, we wouldn't want it to go, like, all the way down there. These we might actually want brighter than the main skull. That way they actually stand out. Turquoise or some kind of rose stone. Something that could be found, mined. That's a good point. But yeah, and yeah, that too. It's like, I really do consider, like, the gold and red to be Raya's color scheme. Though, I mean, there are some pretty fierce implications there if the goblin chieftain is wearing gold and they decorate themselves with, like, things they find and maybe trophies. That's kind of dark. But yeah, like, a little piece of turquoise would be cool. It might not stand off as nice. Rose-colored stone would be cool. I do love all the pink. Like, I've been a huge fan of all the pink in the desert. That's super magenta. Oh, what you got, Mally? Ah, yes. So we've got, like, a cool turquoise earring guy. It's alright, no one is judging you. Right, there are no circles in Stonehearth. This would be a square. I am a fan of the horns, actually. I kind of like them mounted up here. Oh, 2 links. What else we got? Big old jewel. Right, so there's our other guy. That would be a really fancy find. Yeah, we could put, like, a stud or something in the ear, or, like, a small shiny turquoise. Turquoise or pink or something. No, that's not my selection tool. Come here. Goblin with gold teeth. Maybe? I'm not sure how well, because we did go pretty light on the skin tone. Alright. Oh, watermelon-y, right? Maybe not pink. We could also go, like, something more along the lines of, like, a smooth black stone. That'd be kind of cool. Though it might, since this, you know what, maybe never mind, because, hey, what happened to my, who did this? Everybody messing with my brush settings, I'm gonna just save my workspace next time, except I'm gonna completely forget and not do that thing I just said, because just, that's how I do things. There we go. Oh man, monocle. You're right. Yeah, okay, so even if we did add like dimension and shine to a detail, like if it was dark, the issue we might run into is whether or not it still looks like another socket. So maybe we'll stick to lighter. There's also the possibility of just doing a pattern. I do like the turquoise though. I think the turquoise is a really good idea. Senior fancy hat over here. You know, if we did give him eyebrows, they'd be mostly cut off by the very stern. Yeah, it just argues with the teeth coming down over his eyes, over his eye bones. We could get rid of the teeth, but then it doesn't feel as threatening. We could change the profile of the front of the skull. A monocle might end up making for a nice advisor, Goblin says Tamor. That would be funny. The goblin visor. With a big old snake hood. Oh, a snake hood hat! That would be amazing! Hang on a minute. Where's the cobra? I don't know if we could model something like this and not have it look like a mess. Oh, fierce! I also love these guys because I see faces in their patterns. Oh, this one's eating a dude! That's a big snake. It's probably not real, though. Thank you, Internet, for giving us many things, and giving us many things that aren't actually things. A cobra hood would be super cool. Maybe. And with a parrot. I mean, I say yes to parrots all the time, but that's just because I love them. I was playing with a bird yesterday. Let's see. Don't really know if, you know what? That's silly. Let's not get too far down that rabbit hole. Okay, yeah, so we do have the opportunity here to do like a design of some kind. It doesn't necessarily have to be a jewel in the middle. But the jewel would be the quickest read for sure. Also, I feel like this would imply like, I almost feel like this is too like refined for a goblin. Like, it does seem a bit more like they would just like mash something on there and be like, it is done, it's beautiful, I made it. Oh man, tomorrow you get to hang out with a parrot? That's so cool. I hereby name the Vizier Goblin Jafar. Maybe by some random chances you'll get one. There's no way anyone would have a problem with this. Yeah, we're gonna want to go lighter. If we went with the, if we maintained the great tradition of a cool jewel in the fanciest hat. As I mean, it should glitter a little bit. I feel like there's like a margin of glitteriness before that needs to be met before the hat is truly the fanciest hat. Unless, of course, you just get the quail to roost on your head 24/7, at which point you're the best. Alright, I'm just giving myself a little visual reminder here that we want to bring the tips of the horns. Actually, what might be cool is if we made those like ruddier towards the tips. I need to quit hunching. It's bad for my back. There we go. Give me that. Oh, his name is Oscar. That's such a good parrot name. Ugh, don't get distracted. Parrots are the best. I really want a bird. Also, if we went with like ruddier towards the ends of the horns, it not only looks way cooler, but it'll stand out against the sand a lot better. We could just keep going brighter and brighter, but the other thing is, if those get brighter, then the jewel starts to recede, and we want that sucker to, like, pop. Greyrock TV is asking a potentially forbidden question. I wonder why his hat is so fancy. What is he hiding under that thing? The smallest quail, yes. Maybe if we change the tone of this to be warmer? Because right now it's very cold. Though it's, I mean, it's kind of pretty like that. I am definitely guilty of making everything the same color, and I'm trying to get out of that habit. I just get really comfortable in analogous color schemes. Yeah, it's like having a quail Russian doll, exactly. You pick up the quail, and there's just another quail, and you don't know what's going on anymore, and you have to go home and reevaluate your life choices. So I messed with the front of the skull's face in order to see if we wanted eyebrows at some point. But I think that just makes my eyes go all over the place, because we've got all this, like, all these dark moments happening in the hat, that this just feels excessive. Also, it starts to mess with the googly eye, and the googly eye, I love the googly eye. So it's got this little hole carved in here, and what happens because of that is one of the eyes always seems a little, like, askance. Like, he's just kind of, like, doing one of these, depending on how you look at him. There are some who say he's crazy. Or she's crazy, perhaps. Red King says, what do you think about having one of the horns destroyed? I love the idea, but I wonder if the chieftain would have a hat that's broken. Though maybe it also gives the impression that he's like, he or she has been through like some stuff. Or maybe they just couldn't find a better skull. Hey Chibi Kuroneko! Welcome to the stream. We're making cool hats. Or we're making the coolest hat. I mean, we've already made the coolest hat. It's right here. There's no getting better. Quail hat forever. I believe I've accidentally hit Q. Is quick mask on? No. I just managed to deselect all my layers by in some magical way, and I don't know how. Thanks, Red King. I mean, maybe. I do miss the balance, but it's worth noting. I'm kind of missing the big front teeth. If we're not going to give him eyebrows, then we may as well bring his fangles back. The War Chief and the Quail Chief, where you just have a very small chance of encountering a goblin chief that is wearing a quail on its head. And you might notice you have one less quail. Right, so we were talking about potentially fancier gloves. I haven't even really considered what they are going to wear on their body yet. So we have, we've got some goblin bone armor and cloth combinations. Hit C, save a life. So we've got some combination of like bone and just pieces of fabric and things like that. Like again, keeping it with the concept of things being found. So yeah, I'm not really sure what their fanciest outfit would be. Other than like more color, which, you know, we can put that on the hands. That's a fantastic opportunity there. Thanks again for that suggestion. Color in this situation is pretty much a surefire idea or way of communicating like wealth or epicness in a place where everything is tan. The Quail Goblin could be the strategist. Greyrook is asking, is this skull helmet based on another critter in-game? At the moment, not really. So we have the Zilla skull underneath it, and these horns on top might have come from another creature entirely. But we do not currently have a four-eyed, big-horned creature at the moment. Though at some point, maybe it would be good to fix that. Right, our desert is lacking in reptiles and things that have horns, which I feel like I mean, how do you even call yourself a desert? I'm trying to like kind of make this look like a voxel model. It's not at all worth doing this because we're gonna have to go in and model it later anyway. Yeah, like a big bull or a bison. That would be super cool, Melly. We were talking yesterday about how we need more creatures that are specific to each biome, not just variations of existing creatures. That way our temperate biome creatures don't just feel like the defaults. Like, oh, out in the desert we have a brown Varanus, and in the glacier biome we have a white Varanus, and it's like, you just have the regular kind in the trees land all the times. But, I mean, we're starting to do that with Zilla. So Zilla is indigenous to the desert, and a Zilla anywhere else would be a variation on that one. But we could do it more, I feel like. I feel like for sure. Which is why I was like, oh, we should get a lizard. A bison creature would be really, really cool. More dinosaurs. I mean, who doesn't love dinosaurs? Maybe not more dinosaurs. I mean, I don't know. Buffalo! Buffalo are cool, but they're also really smelly. Wait, are these buffaloes? Oh yeah, they are buffaloes. Buffalo party. One of these things is not like the other. Oh my gosh. Apparently these things attack and kill lions. It's terrifying. But this one's real chill. He's got a friend. This one is the Goblin Chief. Look at that bird. It is also a bird friend. It is amazing. Oh, scorpion. Yeah, we do have like a sketch of a potential scorpion monster. Let's see if we've got it in public. Like, there's like a whole bunch of just things. Archive. Is it an archive? This is not what I want. Found it. Scorpion. Where's Rover? So these guys all have like their oh, that's not what I wanted. These guys all have their like super old-fashioned names. Yes. Oh hey, yeah, there's Zilla, back when Zilla was just a concept. Zilla had 6 eyes. The original cactus dudes, which were supposed to be like overturned potted cacti that had gotten up and walked away. There's a cobra with a really hideous face. The first cube quails, which were just blocks. And here's Rover. Yep. He's a spooky scorpion. We also had like a big ant, and Bitsy, which is a small ant. Foxel was the first fennec. Duck is technically a dinosaur. So I had thought it would be really funny. So this was back when I thought the Poyos were called Buck-Bucks. And I thought it'd be really funny if there was like this like ancient dinosaur chicken bird monster called Duck. Oh, and I was talking about an armadillo-themed monster before. Polly over here is actually inspired by a pangolin. So you have like this cute little pangolin dude that rolls up and roves around. And yeah, we've got a big minotaur guy over here. And yeah, I agree, Mally. We need to at some point actually get into doing these guys, like figuring out what we want for those. Pop-Up like starts out as a little dude in a hole and then like jumps up and it turns out it's a big monster, so it's a little jump scare. And this guy over here is a much bigger deal. Yeah, these are fun. There's a little squeaky frog. Oh yeah, that's right. Instead of a hyena, we were talking about just doing like a really hungry dog, but it seemed really sad, so no really hungry dog. Oh yeah, and a mummy as basically a reskin of our zombies to make them feel, you know, more thematic. But maybe a little heavy on the camp, though at the same time, yeah, we've got our forest monsters too. Don't have anybody for the glaciers just yet, but honestly, we've got so much work to do making sure our current biomes are in good shape and finished and like everything is settled before we start adding even more to the pot. Otherwise, we're just going to wind up with, like, 100 years of back work. Yeah, here's our stoneling and the big stone golem, and he's got a chicken on his head, so he's the goblin king now. Bully is a goose, which is truly the most fearsome enemy you will ever face. I don't know how many of you have been chased by a goose. It is not fun. Mally actually stumbled across the model for this guy yesterday. Or was it yesterday or the day before? It was this week. He's a fire-breathing tree. We have this majestic water unicorn named Kelpie. He's really wall-eyed. There was Varanus before it was Varanus. It used to be called Gator. The Hush. A zombie dog. A spider, of course. I don't know if we'll ever get a spider, but in my heart it belongs. And we've got like a little leaf bug over here too, which I think is always a fun idea. Fire-breathing tree. I had always imagined, so I saw some animations for this, and Tom worked on it. But apparently it would have hopped. Like, it would have, like, hopped. And, yeah, I'm ecstatic about this, because, like, when I was drawing these guys, and I was, like, imagining what it would be like to encounter them, and thinking, like, oh, man, what would they do? I thought that the charcoal would be, like, this kind of insidious thing, where, like, you're not sure if it moved, but you turned away for a second, you turned around and it was closer, and the dirt's kind of upturned where its roots have been. They're not spoilers, Drum Original. These guys have been on the streams before. Oh man, I would love to actually like get all that stuff in the game. But boy, we have our work cut out for us. Yeah, in the end, it's like I would like each of the biomes to feel really rich and vibrant, with both flora and fauna and creatures, monsters, and everything that feel like they really belong there, So when you're playing in that environment, you don't feel like you're just looking at the same stuff over and over and over again. So that's like a super long-term goal on the art side of things. One that I hope one day we can actually realize. Oh, sorry, Drum Original. But yeah, those have actually, we've shown those around a little bit. I think that they were in a Desktop Tuesday at some point. They might be coming back into one. Spoiler alert. Or maybe not. Alright, so that was a bit of a distraction, but that's okay. Distractions are fun. Besides, we are here to get stuff done, but we're also here to, like, work together and get stuff done and, like, make sure we're all on the same page with everything. Get people caught up. Say hi. Alright, so I am 100% sold on putting, like, a pop of color on the gloves. Still kind of stumped on what we want to put on his body, though. And again, this chieftain solved it by putting bright pink all over themselves. Yeah, Stalker Tree is stalking. Yeah, to that point, like, I feel like, with the temperate biome monsters, I was trying to come up with things that felt like they could exist in, like, darker, untamed, possibly scary parts of the forest. So, many of those things, at least in my brain, have kind of a psychologically scary element to them. Not like, you know, like, gory, like, explicitly frightening, outside Halloween everything. But, like, just things that would mess with your head. Like the forest rearranging itself behind you, or monsters that prey on your shadows and just slow you down so you go crazy with fear before you get home. Which would have made the temperate biome a lot more frightening to play with. Whereas the desert is more about, like, you know, armor and things like out in the sun, and, you know, there's not really any place to hide, but these guys are, like, tested and proven by their environment, so they have no reason to hide. Potatoes? Tattoos! For a minute I thought you were yelling potatoes, and I was excited because, like, potatoes? Did someone bring hash browns? I love those. Alright, so tattoos. Dang it. Alright, so far though, really loving the hat, really loving the gloves. We could put tattoos on the face. And so far, when it comes to tattoos for the desert goblins, I've been going for, like, brighter reflective paint. But we could also... Excuse me, interesting. We could also go, for something darker. And we gave him a potato scepter with which to rule his subjects. Hi, Moobot! No, the hash browns would not turn into a fire-breathing monster, Greyrook TV. I feel like that's that would be a sad day for everyone. This gets difficult, because then where do you put the tattoos on a dude with so much cool stuff on his head? You, like, just put them across the eyes? Like, he just was like... with the war paint? Except for, like, the weird indented eye, because he couldn't quite get it in there. Oh man, now he really looks like this with his eyes. That's the best. Crab, sideways movement. I agree. Tamara has written, I wonder if a crab would make it eventually, or something like it, with sideways movement. So I guess when we were first doing all that, I was also, you know, I was talking about, like, trying to make things that felt like they belonged in certain areas of the biomes. Whether it was, like, a dark wood. So Gator, which is now a Varanus, it just looks like he's wearing a bandana around his eyes. It looks funny. Nah. So, the gator and the kelpie were supposed to be streamside monsters. So if you were like by a body of water in the woods, you might encounter those. But that's not how our encounters work. I only had the power of my imagination at the time, guys. A chest tattoo. That's an idea. What is he got, like a little dent? Is he missing a piece? I think he's missing a piece. What happened to you, buddy? You got like a little notch taken out of you. Shoot, that's sad. We could do a chest tattoo. He does not have a lot of chest. Yeah, so Greyrook TV is saying that if the face paint was across at an angle, it would look less like a mask. So that's true. I keep deselecting. So that used to be a lot harder to do in Photoshop. This whole thing where I'm deselecting all my layers. So like, also let's put this on its own layer so we can fuss with the color of it, because I'm not really sure what we want to do there. Drum Original is asking, I guess in regards to certain monsters appearing in certain areas, any plans for systems like that in the future? Not that I know of currently, but if it were something that could be implemented, I would definitely root for it. Because then it would make exploring certain areas feel pretty meaningful. I would enjoy it, just from like a gameplay perspective. I would love something like that. But for now, I think we have what we have. Obviously, that seems like a redundant thing to say. I don't know. This is a very rough simulation of what an angled tattoo could be like. But it feels pretty busy. It's kind of cool. I don't know. It's kind of cool. We'll save that one. Like if you had like, well, that just looks like a mustache. Yes. So dignity. Anyway. I don't think anybody wants that. Like the whole bottom jaw were painted. That'd be kind of neat. We need it to be darker than that, though. How do you not get paint in your mouth, buddy? It trade secret. Kind of makes him look like his head's floating, but he also doesn't have any shadows or anything. Yes. Agreed, guys. So right now in the chat we're talking about monsters spawning, the kinds of monsters spawning depending on terrain, like what we were talking about a second ago. Fisherrind is asking, hey, at Stonehearth, what have you been doing off stream? I have actually been doing two things. One, I've been working to get all these paint overs and remodels for our desert versions of our monsters done before we start moving on to Alpha 20. And I've also been working on kind of the aspirational statements of art for Stonehearth, which has been very, very challenging. It also doesn't make for very good streaming, because it's very much like, this sentence sounds dumb, this sentence doesn't do anything. So for at least the last week anyway, I've been getting caught up on these guys. And my goal for the end of this week is to have all of the critters and monsters that we can anyway, ready to go so we can start working into Alpha 20 without having these hanging over anybody's head. Chibi Kuroneko is asking, does Alpha 20 have a theme yet? It does. Not sure if we're talking about it just yet though. So I'm gonna watch my mouth on that one. I know Richard did a stream last night, so maybe he talked a little bit about it. But I was working on aspirational stuffs at the time. I don't know, having the darker stuff underneath the hat did kind of help the hat stand out a little bit. But it also made it super busy. Magnus Gameplay is asking if I've ever done web design before. A very long time ago for my own purposes, but never for stuff like this. Sorry, you got the wild eyes there. Yeah, I don't know. This might have to be something that we muck around with later in Cubicle to see what patterns actually look good with everything, because it's a little hard to judge with just a paint over. We definitely should put something on his body, though. I mean, he could just walk around with, like, sick bone gauntlets and, you know, his little pants here, but at least it needs more contrast. So let's start there and see what happens. I'm not on the right layer, am I? I am not. Outstanding. I drop the contrast down on his pants. Wolf pelt! Ooh, that'd be cool. Hyena pelt. Hey, that's an idea. Oh, you know, I wonder if that would be too sad, though. Like, actually having, like, a hyena pelt over his head. But then I feel like that would be really tragic. Because then you'd feel bad for the hyena. I don't know. It would feel very barbarian. Give him a little belt buckle. I know on Party Goblin we continued the arm wraps up sort of into the shoulder, which gave the arms good continuity. So I think we'll do that again here. We could do like a little bone plate on each of the fingers. Assuming that when it's modeled it's not too crazy town to look at. But it could be really fun. Yeah, wolf pelt for the bike. Oh, but now that you've said that, Mokun, so at a certain point we are going to need a glacier biome goblins as well. And it might be worth saving, because you said Viking Berserker. It might be worth saving the pelt idea for that. Because surely in the glacier biome we will have some kind of awesome ferocious hairy monster like a yeti or something that would make an outstanding crown for a glacial goblin chieftain. Might have to hold on to that, because that's a really good idea. Also, again, I feel like we'd want to use for something like that, like we'd want to use a monster that was maybe not quite as easy to sympathize with, because we don't want to come off as cruel, and there is something kind of inherently cruel about, like, yeah. Tamora is recommending. I'm sorry, Drum Original, we don't have Northern Alliance sketches yet, so I really want to do them. But we gotta be good, and we gotta clean up all of our messes before we move into that. It would be so fun, though. Oh my gosh, I'm really looking forward to it. We will have fun times with all that someday. Yes, goblins everywhere. No zombie pelts, that's gross. Can you even imagine the smell? You wouldn't even have to fight your battles. The opposing army would just flee. Though, I mean, maybe the goblins are okay with that. I get the feeling like they would be a fan of strong odors. Anything to make them more noticeable. Alright, so we were talking about a breastplate. With straps. That just kind of looks like a bra. Hang on a minute. All the way down. These guys can be a little bit hard to put armor on because I love how weird and pudgy their bodies are, and I don't like obscuring that about them. Yeah, that's an idea we can. Oh, you know, he's got like a little triangle flashy bit here, so maybe they also have like a little decoration. A little thing that they painted. Where is your buddy? Yeah, there we go. So there's like a kind of a burst pattern that I've also put. This guy is super creepy. I don't know, something about his face. He just looks like I would not want to mess with this guy, but he's also got a burst pattern like this flower shape kind of in his face paint. Oh, this one's wearing like just a little bit of face paint that's angled. That could be kind of a good look, but it might also be too busy. Again, I think the reason it's successful on this one is because he's got so much space on his head. Whereas this guy here is going to be quite busy. Let's save that. Because yeah, I mean, there's probably an opportunity here to put some kind of pattern somewhere. Krayrick says, "You look so innocent to me. I hate to kill those guys." It looks like he has a bullseye for your archers to hit. Oh no. I do love the goblins. I think they're hysterical. It makes me sad to fight them. I think so far, again, in our group playtests, we usually wind up appeasing them thus far. The time that we failed at everything, we suffered a spectacular defeat. I mean, it was amazing. It was because we failed to give the goblin like 60 of something ridiculous, like we just couldn't do it fast enough. And they razed our city to the ground. Fond memories of Raya's joy. I feel like there's a satirical postcard that's just begging to be made for this. We have since rebuilt Raya's joy. It's going better now. We've appeased the goblins. We also dug a pretty outstanding trench. It still feels like a lot of things. Like, I feel like we'd want to maybe get in there with the dark. Though now it's going to be like hyper contrast everywhere. Oh, hey, maybe we could do like a ribs pattern. That'd be kind of fun. Since he's like got the bone head and the bone fingers. I don't know if we have enough voxels in this body to do something like this, but make him look pretty cool. That might be a bit much. I think that's a pretty fun idea for a theme. Little belt buckle. Might even just completely try to model rib bones onto him, that'd be cool. But again, it's always a matter of space. Yeah, once we get to the voxel part, I think that would matter more. Okay, but we definitely can't have a band of the yellow showing because it's gonna blend too much with that. We can have a little bit of the yellow on the shoulders. We'll just go dark on the body. Try to create something that feels a bit more like ribs on the breastplate. And yeah, just take it from there. I think it's a pretty good start. Feels pretty epic. Anything we're not considering here? Because I think this is a pretty good place to start anyway. I mean, I feel like next to these guys, something like this definitely... I think the teal is helping do this a lot. Something like this definitely feels like this is an important goblin. Even compared to just the regular Zilla cap. And like we could also drag the color slider on the parts that are green if we wanted to change that a little bit. Like make it more blue or maybe more of a sour green. But yeah, I think that's cool. He's like, I am ferocious. Whole bone hat situation. Give me a stretch. Excuse me. Cool, so let's mess with the hat a little bit. We're kind of starting to run out of time here. But we'll see if we can get a little bit further. But Quail Goblin is still a thing, maybe. We'll have to see. As much as I love the idea. God, it's funny. I think it's so funny. Alright, so let's get you where we can see you. You're gonna be our handy-dandy reference. Oh, we should save this. Man, that would really stink. Let's put it in public, that way we can reference it later, too. For Allie... Let's go ahead and just put a folder in Critters already, because... Oh wait, never mind, we don't want that, because that's where everything lives when it's done. RC Critters. Best hat goblin. Yes. Perfect. Greyrook TV is saying save early and often. You are right. Too many. There's been too much heartbreak on account of not doing that very thing. All right, wait a minute. I no longer need this. So let's say before the stream ends. So I'm thinking we could probably go another 15 minutes or so. Let's try and resolve at least the hat, and maybe put the gloves on him before the stream ends. But let's start with the hat, because sometimes horns can be a booger to model. They come out really steppy, really easily. And even if we can only really nail down a foundation for this thing, that's fine too. Stuff to work with, always appreciated. Wait a minute, that's not coming from the angle I thought it would. Let's make sure we're lining up where we need to. Extrude. Whoop. Alright, it's probably not quite where we want it. But for now, let's leave it there. Yeah, it's not quite gonna work. It needs to be 4 high. I should think so. Oh, that's so sad. I'm sorry. I remember getting I can remember getting pretty much finished with art projects, and then either the power would go out or I'd kick the plug out of the computer, one or the other, and everything would just dump and I hadn't saved in forever. There's nothing better than the feeling that you could have stopped this from happening. All you had to do was Control S. All you had to do was Control S. It's truly the worst feeling. Let's see, 4. We can always adjust this as we go. From the top. And not off to a bad start. Gonna want to mess with that just a little bit. Oh no, that's so sad. Chibi Kuroneko is retelling a story of getting really far in Pokemon and not saving. Hang on a minute. I want to see you, because you have great horns. They're so small. Yeah, you know, that's about what it works. Oh, there we go. That feels better. It's always something tiny. Alright. Could very well be too much detail already. Yeah, it's feeling steppy. Because this piece is so big. Gonna wanna... Anytime you get into the situation where you've got curving elements, it becomes such a battle. Yeah, it just looks dumb. Keep it favoring the inside. Alrighty. Yeah, that's definitely too busy. Horns. Why did it have to be horns? Alright, that's probably fine. For the top anyway. They do need some work. Nope, we can't go higher. Interesting. We can do this. Because it makes a good... No puns. Not today. Well, mostly horns because, I mean, it's cool. Even though they are a pain in the butt to model with voxels. Alright, let's work on the transition a little bit lower. That would probably help a lot. Yeah, that already feels a lot better. Avocado's asking, hey, is there an end date for Stonehearth as a final version? Not set in stone at the moment. So I'm afraid I can't really drop a date for something like that. But we are still chipping away at it. And starting to address much more of like core gameplay systems and things like that going forward. It's because they curve. Anytime you get something that curves, it's just a pain. It's a huge pain. You really don't want to see how many bites you can take out of it. That's not so bad. Could do something like that. That really is too busy. Awesome, Azaralia. Azaralia is saying, dev stream. I played Stonehearth already the last hours. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. This is just a harebrained idea. It's not as strong a shape. It's a very whimsical shape, but it also appears more fragile. So, you know what? Never mind on that. Of course, we jump right into the thick of it with a shape that's gonna give us grief. Ugh. Anyway. Yeah, thanks so much for playing it. I'm glad that you're having fun with it so far. Nerzia has already passed the 100 hours of game time. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Avocad says, but really nice work. But he lost one horn. Now he's like the demo version. That's not a bad start anyway. I mean, we can always refine that as we go. I do want this to pop up a little higher though, or maybe it has to go lower. We'll have to find out. It's gonna have a bit of an ugly adolescence as it struggles to figure out what it is and where it's going. But it will come around. I don't know, this is like a much like ruder, chunkier shape, and I feel like that's fine. We don't have to get super delicate with it. He's looking sharp. How dare you. That's a little better. I didn't like quite how spiky that was turning out. Oh yeah, and we can at least, you know, let's go ahead and flip that horn around. No, no windows. Bad. Windows. I appreciate what you're trying to do. Is it this one? Nope. Is it this one? It is! Cool. Yes. Magnificent. They do need some work, but we're getting there. Oh, they just keep coming. This design is on point, says Rockraid. I'm leaving forever. How could you? This killed the budge. I'm just gonna walk out, guys. This is awful. Shame on all of you. I expected better. Ooh. Big old cabochon jewel there. Oh, we did that thing again where, yeah, it's not evens in the middle, so everything's, that's fine. That always happens. Like, you do your paint over and everything's great, and you get to your model and you realize that you have one voxel in the middle instead of two, and that everything you're planning is going to have to be adjusted because of that. It is fine, though. But yeah, so far so good, not bad. And we are almost all out of time, so I'm glad that we do have a bit of a foundation going so far. Let's go ahead and mess with the tone on the horns really quick. Where did my toolbar go? Did I destroy it? That's exciting. There it is. Wow. Amazing. That doesn't, like... Cool. I kid you not, I couldn't find that a second ago. I mean, I could have just used the hotkey. I don't know why I felt the need to click on that. I don't know why I feel like leaning closer to the screen means I'm gonna see it better. It totally does not. Alrighty. Warmer, cooler. Let's just gently push it back. Maybe by just one. It's definitely too early to do this, but I thought this would be kind of a fun way to finish off. I'm gonna have to take it out when I'm refining this later. Okay, let's go -2. Just give it a little fanciness before we leave off today. Oh, that's right, evening for you guys. Ooh, sunsetty. That's pretty. Yeah, might need to be a little desaturated. Yeah, I do have problems with the rotations. I mean, yep, thank you. That's wonderful. So this is great. I'm also, like, whenever it comes to any sort of orientation like those things, I'm pretty hopeless. Like, even, like, my right and left hand, I mix them up all the time. You'd think that I would know, because I'm right-handed, and I draw all the time, but I don't. So yeah, so far so good, and we've got a stellar design. Like, I'm excited about this guy, guys. I think he came out really, really cool, and I can't wait to model him out and make him all pretty. Yeah, Linda, we have already decided, you know, ignore this drawing over here. This one is the goblin chieftain. This one is just a pompous clown. But anyway, for now, we're gonna have to sign off for the time being because we've been at this for about an hour and a half, and I wanted to say thanks for all your help. Again, I'm super excited about this design over here, and I will definitely show you how it all turns out. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I really like it. He stands out against the other goblins, he feels important, and he also feels silly too, which is like, that's everything we could hope for. And I'll see if we can find a way to sneak in the quail hat, but I can't promise anything. I like jokes, and I like birds, and I think that's great. So we'll leave it at that. Alright, so I'll catch you guys next Wednesday, and maybe we'll be working on more goblin stuff, or maybe we'll be on to something totally new, because by that time we should hopefully be done with the desert pass on our existing creatures. So I'll definitely catch you guys up with what happened, and where we've gone, and how far we've come. So, depending on how things go, we may have something completely new to look forward to. I know we've been doing templates and decorations and desert themes for many, many weeks now. So who knows? It may be more of that, it may be something completely different. But either way, see you guys again next week, and have a fantastic rest of your day, or evening, morning, wherever you may be. Thanks again for all of your feedback and support, and yeah, have a good one, guys.